Hey, welcome in everyone, the Dom Giordano Dom Time, and on Monday nights at 7 p.m. it's our weekly roundup. We bring in some esteemed pundits, members of the media, the usual suspects, and we talk about all the things that have happened this week. We encourage you to call in too on any of these stories, some of them kind of light, like The Office, only 2 more episodes left. I want to talk about that tonight with our guest in studio, J.D. Mullane of the Bucks County Courier-Times. J.D., thanks for being in the pundit chair tonight.
Good to be here, Dom.
How much punditry do you have in you this week? Was it a good week?
It was a very interesting week. I was down at the Gosnell trial at the Criminal Justice Center for most of that time. So we're waiting and seeing because it's the jury is weighing the verdict right now. And they retired today at about 4 o'clock. Judge Meinhardt dismissed them. There's still no verdict, so we're still waiting.
Now, the story that I like this week that really got people tied in knots, and I'm not going to get appalled anymore. It is appalling, but it's almost silly to say that a 15-year-old, you have a daughter, right? You have a daughter. I have 2 sons, and we got to escape that. My chaplains are praying for anybody with a daughter watching tonight, that a 15-year-old, and now people are pushing to make it even younger, can go and get, I wouldn't say dangerous is the word I would use for Plan B, but a drug with some kind of consequence to it when they can't get an aspirin all through school.
Well, also, I think today the FDA came down with a rule that said you have to be 18 years old to go to a tanning salon.
The tanning salon's a really good one.
Right.
And that is ridiculous. Some of these kids were in prom season and all, do go kind of wild with this.
Yeah.
But tanning salon, okay, but oh, by the way, if you get lucky that night and you weren't prepared, make sure you have Plan B with you.
Yeah, it's the government, playing parent, and I'm not sure why that is. I think a lot of these things that we see popping up, like Plan B, and but you can have Plan B at age 15, but you can't tan until you're 18. I think they're probably symptoms of something deeper going on in the culture, in the middle class culture. Maybe it's no father at home.
Maybe parents really don't want that decision. In other words, they don't want an unwanted pregnancy, but they don't want to say to their kid, if the daughter came home and said, I had sex and I could get pregnant, let's run and get Plan B. I don't think they want to be involved in that. It'd be a tough one, right? You as a dad.
It could be. I would rather have that discussion with my children before that happens.
Do you have any sense what you would say, though, if that scenario came up, or is that an unfair scenario?
No, I think I would ask them. Of course, every child is different. Sometimes they don't want to talk to dad about it, but they'll talk to mom about it, or they'll talk to some, trusted member of the family about it. And that's what I would hope, and that we would have this discussion before it got to the point where they learned about it in school and never heard anything about it at home first.
Yeah, but I think most parents are doing that, and a lot of people. That's always the excuse that I get on the radio. People call and say to me, "Well, parents aren't talking to their kids about sex in one form or another." And again, I think it's bashing parents. They need to be supported, not to have some pointy head in Washington say Plan B will be next to the gum.
Well, yeah, but again, I think that we're in an era right now where the government is on the offense, and it's getting into all these nooks and crannies of our lives that it didn't think twice about going to before. And Plan B, and one agency says Plan B is fine, and somebody else in the same agency says, but tanning salons are. Another one says, well, if you want your ears pierced, you need...
See, here's the thing, though. The tanning thing the government sees as a health risk, which I see it as too. The other, because sex is involved, they don't want to say anything goes. And I think it also points towards Gosnell and all the stuff that we see. If sex is involved, don't interfere. Everything's okay.
Yeah, and I don't quite understand what that obsession with sex is. In terms of trying to get involved in a kid's life, especially, a child as young as 15. I'm not sure. That's the other troubling thing about it. I have a daughter, she just turned 11 years old, and it really troubles me that somebody's trying to, elbow their way between me and my kid. I don't like it. I'd rather have it stop. On the other hand, I think there are a lot of parents who aren't stepping up and having the discussion with their kids about sex. Have
you written about that over the years? I read you for viewers, the Bucks County Courier-Times. You've written about a lot of stuff that goes on in the schools. And again, I just don't think the schools are capable of being the parent and intervening when it comes to sex.
And I got to tell you something. If you talk to teachers, they say the same thing.
don't want that
They don't
burden.
want to be the parent.
No.
They don't want to be the parent. But the parents are now, they expect the schools to feed their children, to educate their children, about sex education. I'm not sure what some parents feel their role is in their child's life, but these are really important, big issues. You would think they'd want to get ahead of before 15 rolls around and the kid goes into Walgreens and sees the Plan B pills on display.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going to put them. Any pharmacists out there watching Dom Time, where would you put these? Is the government going to say, no, that's not a neutral enough position?
They've already said they have to be prominently displayed. They can't be behind the counter.
Right, but I mean the definition of where is that going to be? Are there places where everybody will see you, or is there going to be a little nook, a little corner that you
Right
go
next
get
to the
it?
breath mints, right as you're
Right next to the
checking
breast
out
mint,
there.
just as you take some
go
Plan
out,
B as
yeah,
you go out.
yeah.
Hey, coming up, and I'd like to get JD to weigh in first. I maintained I'm a traitor. A year ago, I said The Office is the greatest situation comedy ever, better than Seinfeld.
Oh.
All right, that's coming up with JD and with you at home here on Dom Time.